22 years, and the Reverend Dr. John Bullfrog Smith. He doesn't mind the nickname. International and founding president of God's Squad, which is a Christian motorcycle club, been operating in Melbourne for 38 years and now has 8 other chapters around Australia and a presence in 8 other countries. A major function of God's Squad is to minister to the biker community, of which John is an enthusiastic member himself. Each of them, of course, has a distinct outlook on this, and we'll hear from each of them, starting with Ferret, who's going to kick off proceedings. I invite you to welcome all our speakers.
Good afternoon. My name's Ferret. I work in a tattoo parlour in the western suburbs of Sydney. I'm a father of 2, a grandfather of 5. I've been a member of the Finks Motorcycle Club for 22 years, and it's as much a part of who I am as being a father or a grandfather. It's where I've met my best friends, spent some of the milestones of my life, and found people who share my lifelong interest in motorcycles. Contrary to what you may hear from government press releases, being a Fink doesn't mean that I must be involved in drug trafficking, violence, intimidation, or any other form of crime. Organising it, participating in it, or condoning it. But that's me. I'm not here to tell you that members of motorcycle clubs are all saints. There may be people amongst our members who have been in trouble, and what happened at Sydney Airport was a tragedy. Hopefully, with the clubs now sitting together on the United Motorcycle Council, communication between clubs can be improved to alleviate any further tension. Right. My message to you today is that the behaviour of the few does not give our state governments the right to punish the majority. Does not give the government or the police the right to apply a different legal standard to people who look like me or belong to my club. Most of all, it does not make it right for the government to pass laws that lead to innocent people losing their jobs. But that's exactly what's happening. About 2 weeks ago, a member of a Christian motorcycle club in New South Wales was told to stop associating with people in the United Motorcycle Council or lose his public service job. My message today is that all people living in Australia should be free to lawfully associate. Our existing laws are sufficient to punish crime and corruption. There's no need in this country for a law that says that any citizen can lose their livelihood and be declared a criminal simply by talking to someone else. The behaviour of the few does not justify punishing or taking away the rights of the whole. Think about it this way. If the behaviour of a few was enough to justify a criminal tag being applied to all, then Anna Bligh up in Queensland should be declaring her own party a criminal organisation. And our Prime Minister, Kevin Rudd, would also be guilty because his party has accepted donations from an individual named by a US Senate as having associates involved in organised crime. As I said, I'm not trying to say all bikers are saints, just like not all politicians or police are squeaky clean. But I would say that there is more organised criminal activity every day in Australia's governments and police services than you would ever find at your local biker clubhouse. I'm honoured to be here today representing the 18 clubs of the UMC of New South Wales and speaking on their behalf. There are 2 things I'd like to achieve from this event. Firstly, I'm going to ask you, the members of the media and government, to write and speak fairly about us and our members. And I'm going to ask you to apply a healthy degree of scepticism to what you hear coming out of the government about bikers and crime. Secondly, I'm going to challenge the media to apply these laws, the same laws of scrutiny and the same concern for human rights that were applied in this country to the previous government's anti-terror laws. These anti-association laws are continuing the job the previous government started stripping away our legal rights. Now, firstly about the media. You may have noticed we don't comment on what's written about us. We rarely tell our side of the story. What you think about motorcycle clubs you probably assume from the way we look, what you've read about in the news, seen in biker movies, or have been told by the government or police. I guess you could say that the way we've been portrayed over the years isn't something we've fought against. What this means is that what's said about us has gone uncontested. Many of you may argue that you think that bikers deserve whatever bad publicity we get. However, something we've been looking at pretty closely lately is the fact that there's a double standard from government about the way information released about bikers is treated. And one of my key reasons to talk to you today is to ask you, members of the media, to be aware of how the government talks about us and to be less accepting of what they give you as fact. To give you an example, we've all heard recently about TV actress Jodie Gordon, being found with an alleged Rebels biker. This story took a life of its own as it was reported and re-reported as fact by media around the country. The fact is, the guy in the story is not a biker. He's never been a member of the Rebels or any other club. However, at some point, he has had friends in a motorcycle club or ridden a motorcycle. As a result of this, bikers get the credit for the behaviour of some TV star we haven't even met. Let me give you another example. The Daily Telegraph, Tuesday, July the 14th. Headline, Bikie linked to law chief. We have a look and discover it's about a convicted drug criminal worked undetected for 4 years in the state government's highest law office after changing a name. So this sounds serious. We'll look for the link. On the front page, we don't discover anything about bikers. So we go to page 4. Oops. So we go to 4. It then mentions the Attorney General. He's not a biker. Well, he's not in the Finks. Then it mentions the Premier. He's not a biker. And with his popularity, he probably wouldn't get in anyway. So where's the biker link? So then it mentions the woman's boyfriend. Surprise, surprise. He's not a biker. Then we go to the brother. Another surprise. Not a biker either. But we find that he was, in newspaper speak, allegedly linked to a motorcycle club. So hang on. The headline, Biker linked to law chief, is actually so far from a real link to the Attorney General, it's ridiculous.